So we're going live to in a few seconds. I just want to see if anyone's going to be online, and we'll give it a couple of minutes to see if anyone wants to join me while I talk about uh, error correction. Now, error correction is all about small mistakes that people might make. So I think possibly we can see if anyone is coming online, but see exactly what happens. Because obviously I don't want to be talking for ages and then realizing that nobody is actually going to join us. That would be a rather annoying thing. This is the first time I've actually done any of this type of thing before. So, I mean, hey, hello, Mark. How are you doing? Okay, fantastic. So we are live. We're live, and it's like the first time I've actually really done any of this type of thing before. So all we're going to be talking about today is common errors, errors that everyone makes. Everyone makes it. I mean, it would be a bit of a pain if it's only myself and Mark. I could easily just phone him and tell him exactly what's happening and how's the kids and are the kids sleeping and that type of thing. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Um, So maybe what I'll do is I'll let it wait for a minute or two, and then maybe a glass of water, and get a glass of water, and then I'll come back to see if anyone else has joined. So we are live, and have a very interesting session. There's a lot of interesting information that's going to be coming. So if anyone else is going to be coming along, I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, don't go anywhere. Okay, I promise you. I see. So it's Gina's here. Hello, Gina. Glad you're here as well. So I've got like plenty to talk about, and I mean, I don't know if I realize this is the first time I've done this. I'll see exactly if else is online and things like that. I mean, if you are online, please a like or any of these types of things. And okay, so uh, okay, let's see if anyone else is here. Yeah, it's live now, and we'll see if anyone else turns up. Anyway, I might as well just start. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm just gonna start. So, how I was saying, my name is Kenny. I'm from the Bla-Bla Club. I'm going to be talking about like common errors, especially for like Spanish speakers, people who are from Spain or South America or things like that. So, a little bit about me. I've been living here in Catalonia, in Spain, for about 10 years. Not I live in Catalonia since 10 years. See the difference? We always use the present perfect for this. See, we've started already. I've been living here. I've been using the present perfect. I'm an English teacher, not I'm English teacher. Because sometimes in Spanish we don't use the article a or an for that type of thing. And I've taught students, from very much beginners to super advanced. And I run an English conversation club. So for me, I think one of the most important things about learning is that we learn a lot of it through speaking. We speaking, but one of the biggest problems of speaking with another person is there's no one there who will correct you. Okay, so that's a big problem. So when no one's there to correct you, how do you know if you're making mistakes? You only realize it when you read a book and then say, Okay, that's the mistake that I made. I was always, for me personally, learning Spanish is I always used tengo ganas para hacer algo. I always did that mistake. Always made that mistake. And it's not. It's wrong. And I only learned it like last week. Tengo ganas de hacer algo. But you only learn from that. But I'm here to kind of think about how to help you guys learn in a different way. So I always think about um, errors can be in with two or three different levels of mistakes. Okay, so you can have your basic errors, which are small little errors, which sometimes it's like when like maybe prepositions, things like that. I mean, they all make sense to the listener. They make sense, not like has sense. But if you used has sense, the other person understands straight away because of the context. Okay, other ones could be such like, I'm married with Laura, not married to Laura. Married to Laura is correct, but it's married to Laura, but many people might use married with. That's one of those mistakes. Think in. I'm thinking in going to Japan. Well, it's thinking of going to Japan. Depend of. These are the types of things. It depends on. They're not super serious, but they are important to correct. The next level we sometimes have is sometimes it's the wrong like verb choice with collocations, like I don't know, making sport. You know, no, you do sport, you practice sport. You might say, "Oh, damn it, I lost the train." No, you didn't lose the train. You missed the train. You don't lose these types of things. You lose your keys, you lose your wallet, but you don't lose a train or a bus or an aeroplane because they're not your possession. They're not. You don't own them. They're not your belongings. Okay, so these types of things are 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 a major problem, but they're not that major because again they're a bit harder. But again, it's within context. It's always within context. For example, you might pass time with someone in Spanish, pasar tiempo, but in English, no. You spend time with someone. You spend time. I'm spending a lot of time at the moment with my kids. I'm spending a lot of time. I am not passing any time. Time does pass, but in this context, listen him. No, you listen to someone. Okay? Always listen to you. Listen to the radio. You listen to your mother. You listen to your teacher. Okay? Not listen. Okay? Not listen to him. Tell to him or say him. Oh, these do get on my nerves. These do are a bit irritating. They are irritating. But again, within context, more or less correct. Sometimes when you're using a to when it's not necessary. For example, I called to my boss. No, you call your boss. I called my boss this morning. Or I emailed my boss this morning. Or I phoned my boss this morning. You don't phone to your boss. You don't email to your boss. Okay? You email someone. Okay? Other mistakes which they're not huge and major because in context the other person understands the countables and uncountables. These sometimes can cause a bit of problem. Things like furniture, bread, you know, uh, the news. Not I have an important news. No, you have some important news. Okay, I will give you some advice. Okay, that's how we use it. We never say I will give you advice or I'll give you advice. No, I will give you some advice or I need to give him some good advice. And there's other ones, but again, they're a bit more serious, but they're not that serious in the context of everything. Okay? In the context of everything, people can understand. Maybe the third one is kind of a bit more serious. Okay? And this is sometimes with the wrong word choice. Remember, English or Spanish or Catalan or whatever. It's all about um, it's all about communication, especially when you're learning the language. And we're always learning more and more things. If you can communicate well with somebody, that's important. One of the major faults can be is with false friends. We're going to look at some false friends today. And the false friends, well, the false friends, the problem with the false friends is that maybe it's not exactly the same. And maybe there's no link between the two words. Or maybe it can cause confusion. Okay, especially when there's no similar, how within English or things like that. So I'm going to talk about 10. I'm going to talk about 10 different things that really annoy me. Okay, 10 that really annoy me. Okay, 10 things that annoy me in general. In general. And we'll see if any of these if you make these mistakes. Because they do get on my nerves. Okay? To get on someone's nerves. Ponerme nervioso. It's not get nervous. Okay? Staying indoors all day, every day with the quarantine, with the quarantine. You don't get nervous with that. You only get nervous before a plane, before an exam, before you're going to get married. That's when you get nervous. But something annoys you, gets on your nerves. The next one. The important is that we stay calm. The important is we stay relaxed. No, no. The important thing is The important thing is we stay relaxed. The important thing is we find time to rest, to relax. That's when we do that. That's when we do that. Okay. The next one. The most of the people, the majority of people, or the majority of people in Catalonia speak Catalan, for example, or better is to say most people. Most people like ice cream. It's true. I love ice cream. Most people can drive. Not the most of people. Okay. People is. People is. No. No. People are. People are crazy. People are doing this. People are wonderful. People are. Never people is. I know. La gente is. No, but in English, no. We don't use that. We use people are. Okay. This next one, if you're out there, I know Gina is. When I say somos cuatro, what is it? How do you translate that into English? Does anyone know? If I was to say, I know Gina, I know you're watching, or Mark, you tell me. If I say to you, what is, or anyone, if I say we, what do you think it is? Somos cuatro. We are four? No. There are four of us. Okay? So you go to a restaurant, a lovely restaurant, and you're having a lovely time. And you walk into the restaurant and you want a table. And the waitress says, hello, yes. And how many of there are you? Table for, you just say two things. You can say table for four, which is the most logical thing. Or you can say, um, there are four of us. Okay? How many are in your team? There are 20 of us in our team. 20 of us. I know. There are 20 of us. It's a bit longer, I know, but it's the English way. It's the English way. It is. The next one we talk about um, the next one we're talking about is about the age. Okay. Now remember, there is no um, The grammar within English and Spanish and all the languages is not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. Okay, so because it's not exactly the same, we we can't use it the same. So, for example, we say I am 40. Okay, I am 40. It's true. It's true. I know. It's the grey hair. It's the grey hair, I tell you, and the beard as well. Salt and pepper. That's how you call it. Or silver fox when it's like you get silver hair. Okay, or it's not grey. No, 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 no. It's not Ganas. No, 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 no. It's silver and a silver beard. But you say I am 40, or I am 40 years old. Not I have 40 years or I am 40 years. No. There are other ones like this. For example, I am hungry, not I have hunger. No. I am thirsty, not I have thirst. No. This is the next one. I'm on the phone. See if you're on the phone and someone, my boy, we play this, we don't say, uh, I'm Kenny, for example. If we're on the phone, we don't say I'm Kenny. We say it's Kenny. It's Kenny. If you're my boy, my beautiful, wonderful boy Jan, uh, he plays this game with me where he will stand behind me and he'll shout Kia, Kia, which is like Catalan for who is it, who is it, Kia, and it's very very funny. And of course, I have to reply, it's Kenny, or it's Jan, or it's Mummy. Okay, it's okay. No, nothing else. It is. It is. Next one. Oh, this is a great one. This is one that everyone that I know is Spanish speaker. They make this mistake a lot. It's amazing. It's with for and since. When you're using the present perfect, for example, I have lived here for 10 years. I have lived here for 10 years. I have lived here since 2010. Remember that, 2010. With your numbers, there must be an and, not 2010. But 2010 is better. We use for because it sounds like four. It sounds like a number. Okay, for a number of years, number of days, number of weeks. I have been online for 20 minutes. I have been online for 20 minutes. It's true in the past, up to this exact point now. If I'm making a habit or something. I have been online since 8:30. I have been online since 8:30. So we use I have been online. I have lived in Catalonia since. We have a date. Think about a date, think about the fecha. Okay? All right, this one, it's very serious. It's a very, very serious one. It can be not life and death, but it's for me, it's this. What do you put on your toast? Do you put jam or ham? I'll repeat that. What do you put on your toast? Is it jam or ham? Because if it's jam, it's marmalada. If it's ham, it's jamon. Okay, you understand? You understand the difference? Jam is marmalada. Ham is jamon or pernil, Catalan. Okay, so please get this right. Now, at the moment, we are in it's a very crazy time just now. We know it's a very crazy time just now. Okay, and we can't go out, we can't leave. But I guarantee you, I promise you, when we are out of here, when we leave this place, we're going to find ourselves wanting to spend time with friends and family at restaurants and bars and clubs and everything. And we'll have invitar. Be careful with this. If you in English, if you invite somebody, does not mean I will pay for you. Okay? If I say if I'm gonna if I invite someone to for a meal, say, do you want to go for a meal? I invited John to come with us. Does not mean I am paying for John. No, Kia, Kia. No, it does not mean that. It means if I say invite, it means I will take that person to a place and I will be there with them. If I want to pay for them, that's a different story. That means I will treat them. Treat. Treat as in trick or treat, to treat someone nice. We say it's my treat. You fancy a coffee? My treat. You fancy a chocolate bar? Do we fancy something? It's my treat. So we talk about it that way. It's my treat. If we say my treat, then I'm the one paying for it. Okay, or it's on me. Okay, not the other way. Okay. Next, and these are just one of the things that I've seen, I've picked up over some years, and I over the last couple of days I've wrote them down. Just things that I remember these couple of months. Abre la luz. Open the light. No. Tanca el llum. Or close the light. No, no. Turn on, turn off. Okay. If you really want to improve your English, and we'll do this in another session, another time, phrasal verbs. My God, phrasal verbs. Native speakers of English use phrasal verbs all the time, all the time, all the time. Okay, so if you're speaking to native people, you will have to pick that up. It is vocabulary. It is the same as anything else. And so you know how there's so many phrasal verbs, that is true, but there's so much vocabulary, and there's always a phrasal verb for something. Okay, next thing. Fun and funny. What is the difference? What is the difference between fun and funny? Yeah, I'm saying hello to some people. Hello. Um, uh, when I say fun and funny, what is the difference between fun and funny? It's not the same, and it's not one is an adjective and one is a noun. Okay, so that's not the difference. Okay, fun is divertido. Funny is gracioso. Okay, it could be the same thing. Oh, we went out last night. Oh, all right, this is in the past. This is like before the quarantine. If I said, this is fun, I had a good time. We enjoyed ourselves. We might laugh. We might have found something very fun. But funny is ha 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 ha. Funny. Okay? So last night was very funny. We went to a comedian, humorista. We saw a comedian. Not, our last night was fun. We went to a bar, we got drunk. Good point, Mark. Funny can also be funny haha or funny strange. Uh, all day today, this is the truth. My stomach has felt funny. Not quite right. Not quite right. It's if something smells funny, it could be very simple. Again, through this, hopefully, we'll learn more things. If I say something is off, OFF, the preposition OFF, if something is off, it means caducada, as in it's expired, past the sell by date. So if something smells funny, no, no. But it's better to say that than this smells bad. It just smells strange. Somebody can be, he's a funny guy. Yeah, it could be funny, ha ha ha, hilarious. Or it could mean he's a bit funny. One of my students, He's not quite right. He's a bit funny. Um, he's just, but not funny, haha. So it can mean that as well. Okay, now this part is something that I find I find it extremely interesting and important because it's a very, very common one. Okay? It's the term suggest and recommend. Suggest and recommend. Okay? I posted, I was in I'm just starting this to make videos and things. And I was talking about suggest and recommend and how we use it and how most people will use it wrongly. I suggest you. I suggest you to buy this shirt. No. There's two, possibly three ways we use suggest. One is I suggest you plus bare infinitive without the two. I suggest you visit the museum on your day off. I recommend you go to the beach when this is over. Okay, you're free this weekend. Oh, I recommend you watch the this movie, the new Batman film, for example. Okay. So we can talk about that. So we talk about in specific to specific people. We say, I suggest you do something. I suggest you um, wear your mask when you're outside. Or if we're talking about in general, we use I recommend or I suggest wearing a mask. I recommend eating in that new restaurant. I recommend doing that. Okay, so we talk about that quite a lot. Um, there's a lot. There's more actually. There's still a huge more list of these types of things. Um, say, tell, ask, and explain. Say, tell, ask, explain. These four, say me, tell to him. Oh my God, it's really bad. It's not really bad, but it's so common, and it's because if you're translating a very simple words from one language to the other, that's where you make your mistakes. Okay, you make your mistakes not with the big complex things, but with a lot of time with the basics. So, for example, we use tell somebody something. I told him to leave. I told him to take me to the airport. I told him to leave the house. Okay? I said I am hungry. With say, we don't have another person. Okay? It's to everyone. To everyone. It's like declarar, I said da, da, da. So with say, we don't really use the person. However, with the um, with tell, we need to have a person. It's the same with the ask. I asked him. I asked her, not asked to. No, I asked him where the bank was. I asked him how much does this cost. Okay, we always use I asked him something. I asked him to do something. I asked him to open the window. Okay, so we ask somebody something. Okay, explain something to someone. I explained the problem to my boss. I explained the problem to my boss. Okay, yes, there. And breathe for a second. Listen, this video will be posted online maybe a couple of times. So I'll probably have I would love to put subtitles on this, but I will put any information or anything else you want on this as well. Okay? If you send me a message, I will automatically try to send you more information. Okay? I'm just going to do one thing, just 2 seconds. That's better. Um, ah, as I said before, we make lots of mistakes with prepositions. Okay, it's obvious. It's the prepositions in English are not the same prepositions as other languages. It can't be. It can be. It's true. We have some things called like dependent prepositions when you have like a verb and then or an adjective and then there has to be a preposition and then sometimes it's not the same preposition as you think. It's not my fault. I repeat, it is not my fault. It's my language, but it's not my fault. Okay? Don't blame me. It is not my fault. Um, and you can look and you can find these prepositions. Okay? So, but we're not going to do it today. That's for another time. I'm going to talk about three, four more or less ones. Okay? First one is this. Okay, with places. Okay, drink water. It's very good for you. Places. For example, in, on, at. In, on, at. I live in Moyet. It's true. I live in Moyet. I used to live in Glasgow. I used to live in Aberdeen. Okay? When you talk about in, talk about the city, the town, the village. That's no problem. Okay? So we're talking about I live in somewhere. I live in a city. If we're talking about a street, we use I live on. For example, I live on Las Ramblas. I live on Las Ramblas. Okay. I live on Carrer Jaume Primer. I live on something. Okay. So we use I live on for that example. If we're talking about I live on a specific place, we talk about I live at. Okay. I live at. I live I live at number 25. Okay, I live at. Now at Marameba. At causes maybe the most problems because there's it's about the vicinity. Okay, it's about the vicinity of something. Right? It's for example, I'm sitting at this table. Okay, it doesn't mean on the table or under the table or touching the table. Kind of means like beside, but it's not specific. Okay. My dog, my dog is at my feet. Is he touching my feet? Yes, but it's no. That's not important. Okay, this means like very close to within touching. An example: I will meet you at the restaurant. Okay, I will meet you at the restaurant. Does that mean inside the restaurant or outside the restaurant? You don't know. You don't know. You don't. We don't know. Okay. At means like this. All right. Moving on. Of course, if you need any more information, please send me a message, and I will help. Time. So we're using time as well. So for example, we use in when it's the month, the year, etc. So I was born in 1979. We use on, and it's very specific dates, specific days. For example, I will see you on Thursday. And we use at, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock. We also use it for at for like Christmas. What did you do at Christmas? Okay. We also use during. It's like durante, right? For holidays. So what are you doing during summer? What did you do during the Easter holidays? Okay. And the last one, um, technology. Technology, pretty much we use on. Pretty much on. You know how you're watching me on Facebook. You're watching me on your screen. What is on television? I heard it on the radio. It is on the internet. I'm trying to get online. So for that, we use technology. We use on, and on. Okay. Um, Again, it's trying to figure to see what the next one is. So I'm going to miss one, and I'm going to move on to gerunds and infinitives. Ah, yeah, yeah. This always causes everyone problems. But there are outsiders lists. Some things you just need to sit and study. I apologize. Okay, it's sometimes you need to sit and study. But here's a couple of hints and tips that you might that might be useful. Okay, so in general we use so this is like when you have a verb and then what happens after that verb. It's a second verb. Okay, so when we have a verb, like for example, afford, for example, the first one, afford to have enough money, afford. I don't have enough money to buy a mansion. I don't have enough money. I can't afford. I can't afford to buy a mansion. Afford to do something. I expect to see you next week. I expect to see you next week. So there's a lot. Most of them have that pattern when it's two verbs together. But there's lots of them that don't. Lots of them don't. After prepositions. So if you've got any phrasal verbs, if it's two verbs, so there's a phrasal verb and another verb, when you have a preposition, 99.9999999% of the time, the next one is going to be a gerund, gerundio. Okay? The next one will be gerundio. Okay? So if I say, I don't know, um, give up, to give up, dejar, to give up something. Well, the up is a preposition, so the next one will be the gerund. Okay? I should give up eating so much food. Okay? I should give up smoking. I should give up drinking alcohol. We always use the gerund for this ones. Okay? If it's the subject of a sentence, then we use the gerund as well. And there's some other ones as well. Now, then it gets interesting. My favorite part is when you don't. Here's the thing. When you don't use either the infinitive or the gerund. When we use the bare infinitive. It's like bare means like there's no do. So it doesn't have the to part. We know lots of them. We know lots. We know that I must go to the bank. I should go to the bank. I can go to the bank. I could go to the bank. I will go to the bank. These are the auxiliaries and modals. No, we don't have the to after. Remember that. So there's lots of these that we don't. There's a couple more. And I for years, I've been talking about the famous five. The famous five. First one is let. Let. To permit something, to allow something. When we use permit to allow, when we use that, we use to, but with let, we don't. Okay, my brother doesn't let me. Uh, that's perfect. I'm just looking at some of this ones. I made it so confusing. Very good. Um, I'm just replying to messages to apologise. Okay. So these famous five. These famous five. The first one was let. The next one is make. Now make is yes, is fabricar, is hacer. I know that, but we also use make and aforzar to force someone to do something. My boss uh, forced me to work late. My boss forced me to work late. I didn't want to work late. I wanted to go home and well, maybe not like this. But if we say my boss made me work late. My boss made me work late. Okay, so we use that. Next one is help. Help can be both. Okay, he helped me to clean the house. He helped me clean the house. Can you help me clean the house? Can you help me with, sorry, can you help me do this? But that's the thing. We use, we use kind of like both. Okay, but I prefer it without. The state is helping people find work. The state is helping people find work. Not true, obviously, at the moment, but that's how we use it. Okay, so that's three. There's two more. Um, there's another one as well, which is saying one, which is I think it's like I watched her jump. I saw her cry. So sometimes with those ones, I watched her do something and I saw her do something. We don't use infinitive. Okay. There's two others, which are would rather, which is like prefer, but it's more common and for native to say I'd rather. I'd rather live in Barcelona than Cuenca, for example. Sorry, people from Cuenca. I would rather leave the house today than stay inside. Because I'd rather, so I would prefer to do something. I would rather. And something that I've never, ever, 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 ever in my 10 years of teaching English have I heard any learner use organically. Had better. Had better. Had better is like should because of consequences. Should with consequences. For example, hey, it's getting late. We should leave. Okay. Hey, it's getting late. We had better leave or we will be late. We had better go now. You had better bring in an umbrella or you will get wet. So we use had better because there's consequences to the actions. Okay. You must you must leave now. Okay, but you had better is better. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the next part is a little bit I mean we can spend more time talking about gerunds and infinitives. The difference, for example. Oh, I love this question. Oh, if anyone knows the difference, I will be so happy. I remember locking my door, and I remembered to lock my door. I remember locking my door, and I remembered to lock my door. What is the difference? What is the difference? I remember locking my door, and I remembered to lock my door. Okay, the difference is this. I remember doing something is I have a memory of it. I have a memory in my head. Okay, I have a memory of something happening. Okay, I have a memory of something happening. Okay, but I remembered to do something. I remembered to do something was I had an obligation and I did it. I had an obligation and I fulfilled that task. Okay, so I remember locking my door and I remember locking my door. Okay, so that's the one. There are a few more like I forgot is the same. Stop and stopping. So I stopped to speak to Mary, and I stopped speaking to Mary. I stopped to do something was walking down the street, and stop para hacer algo. Okay, to do something. And I stopped speaking is like dejar, abandonar. I stopped dancing. You know, if you stop, I stopped dancing last year. Okay, so we can use that type of thing. Um, and we have that. Um, a couple of false friends. We'll move on to false friends. We only have about 10 minutes left. I want to do some false friends, and then maybe I have just enough time for one more thing. Okay, one more thing. Um, Actualmente. Uh, Actual, currently. These are these false friends that are like this. They cause us all a little bit of problem. We don't say actually. Actually means like en realidad. En realidad is actually. Okay. Um. So if someone says, "Oh, you don't live in Spain," and I say, "Actually, I've lived here for 10 years." Oh, you're not Scottish. Joder, tío. Actually, I am. We use that. Okay. I currently, I currently live in Mollet in Catalonia. I currently live here. Means at the moment. Okay. My current job. My current job is as an English teacher. This is an English teacher. My current is that one. Okay. The and so that's the false friend. Okay. So don't use I actually work here for 10 years. No, I have currently worked here for 10 years. Next one. Molestar. Molest. They're not the same. Okay? They're not the same. Um, molest is abuso sexual. Okay? So we don't use that. We don't say, sorry for molesting you. Oh, my God, you cannot say that. Sorry for bothering you. Okay, sorry for bothering you. Sorry for annoying you. Sorry for we don't. So just be careful with this. Um. Oh, this one might be interesting for you, Mark. You've been a chef and things like this. When you have something and you're doing like this here, what are you doing? It's not. What do you think you're doing? You're not removing it. No, you're not removing it at all. You are stirring it. To stir. The verb to stir. Okay? To remove is put from one place to another. At the moment, I'm removing the cup. I'm moving it to another situation, another place. Stirring is this action. Remover. Now, I imagine that at the moment that I hope you're all healthy. For me, especially at this time, you know how we have to stay healthy, things like this. One thing that's these are the false friends is constipación. Oh, okay. It's not constipation. Okay. Constipation is when you need to go to the toilet, but you can't. because you are exactly, yeah, know what I mean now. You, yeah, you can't go. Okay, that is constipation. Okay, so don't say I have constipation. Okay, in polite company with polite people. No, please no. Moving on quickly, please. The next one is talking about um, to uh, discutir. It is not discuss. Okay, it is a false friend. It is a false friend, but it's more about um, what is it? It's more about have a discussion. Is more talking politely where you might not agree, or you may agree, but you can discuss the weather. It's not discutir. It's discuss the weather. It is mean discuss a problem. Try to find a solution. If you are not, it can be physical. We can talk about a fight. So to have a fight with your wife does not always mean this. No, 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 no. A fight could mean an argument. Not an argue, an argument. The verb is to argue with somebody. The noun is an argument. Okay, so it's an argument. Okay. Um, Next one. So we're going to talk about the word propose. It's not a false friend as such, but in general, you propose. It can also mean suggest. Okay. But we were talking about the word suggest and propose. It does, but it's more common to use suggest. Propose in general is used when you want someone to marry you. Okay, when you want to, he proposed to his girlfriend. Okay, that's propose. Okay, it's more common to use suggest. Do you remember how we use suggest? You probably forgot. I suggest you do something. And I recommend you do something specific to that person. But in general, we say, I suggest doing something. I propose we go to the bar. Well, I suggest we go to the bar. It's maybe better. It's more common. Um, okay. These ones I always find at the school. One is like a folder, which is a carpeta. A carpet is alfombra. Okay. Carpet is alfombra. Carpeta is folder. So this is why I said about sometimes these false friends are completely different. If you use you go to a shop and say, "Do you have any carpets?" And it's a shop, a papeleria, a stationery store, papeleria. You They would look at you funny. Look at you funny. Look at you strange. Okay, so be careful with that. Um, Assist and attend. Okay, when you attend a class, when we say this is assistir. When you say assist, when we say assist, it's ayudar. Okay, uh, so be careful. These are like false friends again. Okay, we're almost out of time. We're almost out of time. I've only got a few more minutes left. I don't know how many people are watching online, to be honest. I would love to see if there's a way of seeing how many people have been watching, how many people have liked it. I don't know. I think 4 or 5 people are saying that they like it, and for me that's great. If you put a like and if you're happy and um, and I'm going to try and do more of this. Okay, so this is um, I was worried, of course, because I didn't know who was coming, and it is my first time to try to do this. If yeah, perfect, Annabella. Um, if you have any questions, that's the things. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer at some point, please, now is your time. And I will try to answer them in a week. Hello, Natty. Um, um, I want to thank the people that came along and everything else, and hopefully I'll see you guys again another time. Okay, so I'm gonna sign off just now. Guys, thank you so much for your time. During this time of lockdown, it's very important that you spend time with your family, you don't get angry, you relax, you find moments for yourself. It is a very stressful time. I understand that. So hopefully I've been a bit of a distraction for you. Um, and that's what I'm here for. I mean, I'm just trying to thank you, Mark. I'm just trying to entertain. Now, this week was, like I said, was a bit um, was just really just a bit of error corrections. Next week, I hopefully will be talking about vocabulary regarding the lockdown. For example, the phrase to climb the walls. To climb the walls is when you are like very stressed about something. And if you're stuck and you can't move from a place, you say, "Oh, I'm climbing the walls in here." We'll talk about that, and phrasal verbs I think are also very important. So I want you to look at that. I want to give everyone the opportunity to learn. So for me, this is a good night. Spend time with your family. Have a lovely week, and yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.